So you just had your annual physical exam and your doctor said that you're healthy, but you still feel terrible. You're tired, gaining weight, can't sleep, and your mood is all over the place. Yet your doctor says your labs are normal. In this video, I'm giving you the exact lab panel I order for my private clients so you can finally get real answers and not just a you're fine when you know that you're not. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Renee, a double board certified OBGYN and functional medicine doctor. After over 20 years of working with women, here's what I've learned. Most annual labs are far too basic to uncover what's really going on with your hormones, metabolism, or mood. And here's the trap. Even if your doctor orders some of these tests, they may tell you that you're normal because you're in the reference range. But reference ranges are often based on an average of the population, including people who are already unwell. And by the time you get out of the normal range, you've already developed a disease. So my clients feel their best when we look at optimal ranges, not just the good enough ranges. So by the end of this video, you're going to have a list that you can take to your doctor and ask for certain labs. And if you want to skip the frustration and have me run your labs and interpret them for you, I'm going to drop a link in the description to schedule a strategy call so we can figure out how to make that happen. Okay, so let's start with the hormones. You know, I love talking about hormones, and we're going to start with thyroid. If you only get a TSH, you're going to miss most of the thyroid picture. So for your thyroid health, you can get a TSH, which stands for thyroid stimulating hormone, and it's the signal your brain sends to your thyroid to tell it to make more hormone. If it's high, it often means that your brain is yelling at your thyroid to work harder. And if it's low, it may be overactive or your brain isn't signaling well. So here's what is often missed: a free T4 and a free T3. Now, T4 is the storage form of thyroid hormone, and T3 is the active form that actually drives your metabolism, energy, and your brain function. We want the free form so we know what is available for your body to use. And here's the thing, you can have a normal T4 but low T3, and then you're going to feel sluggish, which is why you need to see both. And here's another one no one ever orders: a reverse T3. Think of this as your brake pedal for your thyroid. Under stress or illness, your body's going to convert T4 into reverse T3 instead of active T3. And then too much reverse T3 is going to block active T3 from getting into your cells, leaving you with symptoms of low thyroid, even though your labs look normal. And another thing that no one ever checks for are the thyroid antibodies, TPO and thyroglobulin antibodies. These check for Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is an autoimmune condition where your immune system attacks your thyroid. Hashimoto's is the most common cause of low thyroid in women, and it can cause symptoms for years before your TSH goes out of range. And a little aside, I always check thyroid antibodies, and I'll often have women who come to me who may already be on thyroid meds, or when we check their levels, they're super high. And their two questions are, number one, why did my doctor never check for an autoimmune thyroid condition? And number two, how long have I had it? Now, the answer to the first question is most conventionally trained docs don't think that you can do much for autoimmune thyroid conditions until your thyroid becomes abnormal, meaning until your immune system has attacked your thyroid so much so that now you need thyroid medication, in which case they will put you on the medication. I believe otherwise. I do think there's things that we can do to intervene before your immune system completely attacks and wipes out your thyroid. Number two, how long have you had it? I don't know. But many times if I see super high levels of antibodies, you've probably had it for a while. Okay, so when you get your thyroid test done, timing does matter. You're ideally going to want to test these in the morning before you eat, and you're going to want to try to be consistent with the time of day so you can track trends over time. All right, now let's move on to the sex hormones. Number one, estradiol. This is your main and most active form of estrogen during your reproductive years. It's crucial for things like your bone health, brain health, skin elasticity, and heart health. Too little can cause hot flashes, vaginal dryness, brain fog, and bone loss, and too much can contribute to things like bloating, heavy periods, and weight gain. Then we have progesterone. It's often called the calming hormone because progesterone balances estrogen. It's going to help support restful sleep, and it can soothe anxiety. So let's think about this. If it's like our main relaxation hormone, let's think about what happens when levels are low, which often happens during perimenopause. It's going to lead to irritability, insomnia, irregular cycles, and heavier bleeding. Then we have testosterone. You're going to want to check for free and total. This is not just a male hormone. In women, it has a huge role in maintaining lean muscle mass, supporting your metabolism, helping fuel your libido, and stabilizing your mood. Low testosterone in women can mean fatigue, weight gain, decreased motivation, and reduced muscle tone. Then we have DHEA sulfate. This is an adrenal hormone, which is a precursor to both estrogen and testosterone. It plays a role in mood, energy, immune health, and how resilient you are to stress. Like many of our hormones, as we get older, this one also declines. So low levels of DHEA can leave you feeling burned out and make it harder to maintain healthy hormone levels overall. Then we have SHBG, also known as sex hormone binding globulin. This protein binds to sex hormones in your blood, controlling how much is free and available for your body to use. So high SHBG levels can make hormones less available, and low levels can lead to excess free hormones. It's an important clue in understanding hormone balance and metabolism. So when to check these levels? Well, if you're still cycling, I always recommend checking a progesterone, ideally between days 19 and 21 of your cycle. And how do you count your cycle? You count day 1 as the first day of your period. And if fertility is on your radar, definitely get estradiol as well as FSH and LH around day 3 of your cycle for the most accurate baseline readings. And then when it comes to stress hormones, kind of limited in the conventional world. If possible, request a 4-point salivary cortisol test. This is going to measure cortisol at multiple points throughout the day, which is going to show your full daily rhythm, which is really essential for spotting stress-related patterns like cortisol spikes at night or crashes in the afternoon. Now, a little warning here, your regular doc is probably going to say that they can't do it because they don't believe in it. And they may actually offer just checking your cortisol in a blood test. So if your doctor does do that, I just want you to remember, it's a single morning cortisol reading. It's just a snapshot, and it can look normal even when your overall pattern is far from optimal. All right, let's move on to metabolic and blood sugar markers. Most docs will run a fasting glucose, and that's it. But the problem is you can have years of blood sugar problems before your fasting glucose ever moves out of the normal range. So that means you could be on the path towards insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome without even knowing it. Ask for a fasting insulin. This is one of the earliest indicators of insulin resistance. High insulin levels mean that your body has to work harder to keep blood sugar stable, even if your glucose looks fine. This can actually show up years before diabetes, and it's a major driver of belly fat, sugar cravings, and energy crashes in women. Hemoglobin A1C. Now, this is going to measure your average blood sugar over the past 3 months. It's useful. It doesn't always tell the whole story because some people's A1C looks normal even when they have big daily swings in their blood sugar. Something that I don't normally check, but I'm going to throw out there is fructosamine. So it's similar to A1C, but it reflects the past 2 to 3 weeks. So it's great for catching recent changes, especially if you've just changed your diet or you're monitoring short-term trends. Something I do is calculate an HOMA-IR. Now this formula is going to use your fasting glucose and your fasting insulin to give you a more precise picture of how insulin resistant you are. Even if each number looks normal alone, the ratio may reveal an early problem. So then we're going to just add in the lipid panel. Most docs will check a standard lipid panel, which is usually where I start as well. That includes the total cholesterol, LDL, HDL, triglycerides, the basics. But it doesn't always tell the whole cardiovascular story. It's a start. If I have a client who has a terrible looking lipid profile, next time we order one, I will get a cardio IQ, or I think they also call it like an NMR lipid panel. This is going to look at the type of LDL you have. Small, dense LDL particles are more dangerous than large, fluffy ones. So this test is going to give you a more meaningful risk versus just looking at the LDL alone. And why does this all matter for women over 40? Insulin resistance doesn't just raise your risk for diabetes. It also can disrupt your hormone balance, especially estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. It can increase your belly fat by driving fat storage around your organs. It can worsen perimenopausal symptoms like hot flashes, mood swings, fatigue. It can make it harder to lose weight even when you're trying to eat well and exercise. So this is why I test all of these markers with my clients, because catching blood sugar and insulin issues early can totally change the trajectory of your health, your hormones, and even how you feel day to day. So now we're going to move on to the inflammatory markers, because you may be a woman out there who has chronic fatigue, stubborn joint aches, or hormone symptoms that just won't budge no matter what you've tried. You have to think that inflammation could be the missing piece. The problem is inflammation is often silent. You may not have obvious swelling or pain, but inside your body, it can still be disrupting everything from hormone signaling to energy production. So first and foremost, you're going to want to ask for a high sensitivity CRP or C-reactive protein. This is one of the most sensitive measures of systemic inflammation. Even small elevations can indicate your body is under some sort of stress from something, either like poor diet, maybe a hidden infection, physical stressor, or a toxin exposure. It's also an important cardiovascular risk marker. One that no one ever associates with inflammation is ferritin, because most people think of ferritin only as an iron storage marker. And yes, low ferritin can mean low iron, but high ferritin can also indicate inflammation. It's an underused clue, especially if you have normal iron levels, but high ferritin. So why does this matter for women in their 40s? Well, hormonal shifts during perimenopause can actually increase your body's inflammatory responses. Estrogen normally has an anti-inflammatory effect. So as it fluctuates and then eventually declines, that protective barrier can get weaker. If inflammation is high, it can block hormone receptors. So even if your hormone levels look good on paper, your cells can't use them effectively. It can worsen symptoms like fatigue, brain fog, weight gain, and mood swings. It can slow your recovery from exercise. It can make joint pain more noticeable. So this is why I routinely include these inflammation markers when I work with clients, because lowering inflammation isn't just about comfort. It's about helping your hormones actually work again. Nutrient deficiencies are one of the most overlooked reasons women in their 40s feel off. Even if you feel like you're eating a balanced diet, stress, hormone shifts, gut changes, and certain medications can all deplete key vitamins and minerals, and then without them, your hormones simply can't function at their best. For instance, many of the B vitamins, B12, essential for energy production, red blood cell formation, and nerve health. Low levels can leave you feeling tired, foggy, and even moody. I check this routinely, and if symptoms suggest an issue, even after optimizing intake, we will dig deeper. And then we have folate. It's super easy to just get a serum folate, which is what's in your circulation. Now, you can also request an RBC or red blood cell folate to determine what is stored in your cells. I have tried to get this in the past and have had difficulty getting it. Folate supports DNA repair, detoxification, and is essential for making estrogen and progesterone. Then we have B6. It's critical for progesterone production and for making neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which both support your mood and your sleep. Low levels of B6 can contribute to PMS, anxiety, and poor sleep quality. And then let's not forget magnesium. I personally love a red blood cell magnesium. This is going to look at the magnesium inside your red blood cells, making it more accurate than a serum magnesium. We have to keep in mind that magnesium supports over 300 enzymatic reactions, including stress regulation, muscle relaxation, and hormone production. And then, of course, vitamin D. Think of this as more of a hormone precursor, not just a vitamin. It influences your immune function, how strong your bones are, your mood, and your metabolic health. In my opinion, the normal lab range is often way too low. Most women I work with feel much better, well above the minimum. And something that I have checked in the past, it's not currently part of my routine panel, but it might become so in the future, is a zinc and copper ratio. Zinc supports thyroid function, immune health, and ovulation, and copper is necessary in small amounts for energy production and iron metabolism. So perhaps if you have issues with your immune system, your thyroid, maybe you're trying to get pregnant, or you're having issues with energy or iron, you may want to consider this ratio. And the ratio matters because too much of one can throw the other one off, impacting both your immune system and hormone balance. So why do these nutrients matter for hormone health? Well, B vitamins are essential for metabolizing estrogen and making neurotransmitters that affect mood, energy, and sleep. Magnesium helps regulate your cortisol, reduces PMS symptoms, and can support a healthy production of progesterone. Then, of course, vitamin D acts like a hormone in your body. If it's low, it can worsen fatigue, mood swings, weight gain, and you can develop immune issues. Balanced minerals help your hormones work efficiently and keeps inflammation in check. And this is why I check these nutrients as part of a baseline panel for my clients, because if the building blocks for hormone production aren't even there, no amount of lifestyle change will get you the results that you want. So that's your foundation. These are the essential labs that I run for every woman over 40 who comes to me feeling off, but being told she's fine. Now, I do run a few more, and if I included all of them, this video would probably be 2 hours long. But I hope as we've gone through this video, you have jotted down the ones I've listed so you have your own list to take to your doctor. And if not, you can always pause, rewind to make sure that you capture the ones that apply to you. And listen, if your doctor says no to ordering them, ask why. And remember, you have every right to advocate for yourself. And if you'd rather work with a doctor who already runs these tests and knows how to interpret them for optimal health, not for just being normal, book a strategy call with me. In that call, we'll talk through your symptoms and figure out if working together is the right next best step for you. I'll be sure to put the link in the description. And I'd love to know in the comments, are any of these tests new to you? Or do you have a doctor who already runs all of them? I would love to know. And with that, we'll see you right back here next week. Ciao.